Hey everyone, Eric with Rockin' H. It is Saturday and I'm out here in the lab, and I thought maybe you would like to see what a typical Saturday looks for me, because this is when I do a lot of my work. As most of you might know, I have a day job, so through the day I fly a desk, and then in the evenings and on the weekends I'm out here building this business. And I call it a bit, but I'm out here just playing and having lots of fun. That's really what I'm doing, and I'm making money doing it, so what the hell, it's great, right? Okay, so I'll flip the camera around so you guys can get a taste of what's going on here. Okay, so on a typical Saturday, this is where I'm at. And I usually get my heater going if it's cool out. I use that thing when it's really cold, for better or for worse. Right now it is 50 degrees in here. And you would think for the kind of money I'm making, I would put a good heater in here, but alas, I'm not doing that. Anyways, okay, here's what's going on today. I'm gonna get Savannah's truck done. I put this cab, or I used JB Weld to attach the cab to the frame. I did that last night, so it's ready to go. I need all the accessories put on it. Savannah's truck, I put Molotow chrome over these fenders to match the real ones, and then it puked. So I wiped those down last night, and it's just been chilling overnight, getting nice and dry. I don't know, I just didn't want to do it last night. So I'm going to put all the accessories on the back of this. It needs some toolboxes, a deck plate, airlines, Molotow on the cab lights, a bumper, and then Molotow over these rear fenders. And then this one, I think, is done. This is Lori's truck. This is Savannah's truck. And this is Holly's truck. So this one just needs assembled. It's a W900. It has the T800 Aero roof cap and an Aero sleeper on it, which doesn't come factory. You got to modify this. So you got to buy a T800 or get a T800 roof cap, stick it on the W900 cab, and then you can use an Aero sleeper. Not a hard project, really. I wouldn't say it's for beginners, but yeah. Anyway, so these three trucks are what I'm going to get done today. And then if there's time left later this afternoon, I'm going to get Angela's truck going. And I'm going to do one of two things. I'll either get Angela's truck going, or I'm going to just start putting leftover parts away, because Terry's trucks are done. Her trucks are finished. Yeah, so I just want to I need to do some cleanup here and just kind of tidy up my workbench a bit. And yeah, so that's what's going to happen today. 50 degrees is not that cold, but I decided to fire up the heater anyway. It's like, yeah, got a little chill. Okay, so project number one is completed. And here's some that I got finished last night, or this one got done last night. So these are ready for the mail as soon as they are approved. And so there's a lady here in Kansas, she commissioned all three of those pieces. Anyways, so this is Lori's truck. And like I said, I got this one done. And what I did here to finish this was the factory bumper had a grill guard or a moose bumper on it, or herd bumper, whatever you want to call them. And it goes through the factory bumper. Long story short, I couldn't use it. So I found one that looks similar to the real truck. Put these pogo or whatever sticks you call them. I don't know what those are called, but they're on there. Anyways, got the lights here. Golly, can't hardly see that. Got the Molotow on the cab lights, and then put a little Molotow back down here on this air tank, and then over here Molotow on those rear fenders, and I added airlines. Had to make this cabinet by shortening it up. You can see a seam right there. Not awesome, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And then a wet kit tank on the back. I don't know if that's a wet kit tank on the real truck or not. I can't really tell from the photos. And then a little black down here on the bottom of these mud flaps. Now, these fenders and that wet kit tank all come out of my store. So if you're needing that stuff, rockinhfarmtoys.com. And then Lori wanted a step deck to go with it, and she wasn't too particular on which one goes on. Yeah, let's talk about these wheels right here. So these are off of Top Shelf Replicas L9000s. These are the best looking 5-spokes you're gonna find, I think. Anyways, I used my I have this also in my store. There's a third axle adapter. I use that to put this tag axle on, and then this axle actually matches these, but I put some low pro tires on those to make it look smaller like the real one, so you can see how much bigger in diameter the rear wheels are compared to that tag axle, that turned out way cooler than I thought it would. So yeah, this one is, I think I'm going to take some photos of this and get it ready for her to approve, and then this one's ready to go for Christmas. Okay, let's do a quick update because I told you that Savannah's truck is on the bench here. So I got to looking at the photos and I'm like, what in the world were you thinking picking that long frame? That isn't even close. So I don't know if my mind wasn't right last night or what, but anyway, I went ahead and took the cab off this frame and I got this frame out because this one is, from the photos, visually it looks spot on. So that's what I'm going to do. Now you'll notice here, okay, two things. One, you'll see here that I ground off the attachment points. This is just a solid chunk of metal. So to get this to sit over the wheels correctly, the attachment points for the fender or for the hood, excuse me, I don't need them, so I took them off. I ground them down and ground it flat, so you can see there's not much diecast left, and that's what you got to do sometimes. And this is a 379 Pete frame, and then you'll look at that. See, that's right. I mean, there you go. And then I put a piece of plastic inside these frame rails here, and then a shim on top of that, so this cab looks level from front to back, and that's what I'm going for here. Now, Eric, does it matter how tall you make them? No, this is purely up to you. So if you like your cab to sit a little higher over the wheels, you can do that. If you want it lower, it's up to you. How you shim this up and get that level is completely up to the builder, but this is what kind of looks closest to the real rig. And the bonus about this frame is it's got quarter fenders already on it, so I don't have to add those. Here's the tanks I'm going to put on it, and then I got some exhaust, a couple of accessories, some rear mud flaps, and this thing's ready to go. So what do I normally attach these to? Well, today for some reason I'm using JB Weld. I don't know why. I normally just glue them on, but I'm in a JB Weld mood, so we're using JB Weld, or JB Quick I should say. And then while this is getting all happy, I will move over and start putting Holly's truck together while the JB Weld is drying. So I'm just kind of putting it in kind of a pile down here in the middle. When I set the cab on it, it'll kind of squish out. And that ought to work pretty good. At least I'm down here on the floor so I can look at this thing and make sure I got this centered over, the cab is centered over the front axle, the front wheels. So this is a Winross cab, if you were wondering. And you can find them pretty cheap on, well, I bought it off eBay, I think. Or maybe as a random toy show. I know I've had it for a while and finally I'm putting it to use. All right, I think that is good to go. I'm gonna let that sit out off the camera there and put the tanks with it because those go on it in a minute. And then I'll bring Holly's truck over. So this one will be the next one we do. And the reason to start work on this is because Savannah's rig is busy drying. So we'll let that dry. And then here is Holly's parts. So all of those parts go on here. All right, guys and gals. This is what I typically do when I'm putting a truck back together again. I go to my parts bin here. Here's the parts bin. And then I make sure that everything I need is accounted for. And as you can see, I've got it all. And then any extra parts that I might need, like this bumper goes on the front of this rig. So that's accounted for now. I've got all that. And then going back to my lids here, you'll notice I've got a dab of glue. This is Formula 560. I actually sell this in my store as well. But this dries clear and is not as aggressive as my other go-to glue. So I keep these glues all in the lab all the time. These are the only two that I really keep. And so on these parts up here on the hood, I'll use this Formula 560 because it dries clear and there's no chance of any glue haze from the chemicals in that other stuff. Yeah, on occasion you can get glue fog on your painted parts from the formula or from the BSI extra thick. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen it does happen. So there it is. Okay, so I left you out till the end of the last bit of assembly because I've done videos on all that other stuff already, so that would have been a little boring because I put those fenders on right there and I've got videos showing that, clearance lights, the visor, all that's done. So really that's all there was to it. Just, oh, I had to put this deck plate on and airlines, that wasn't a big deal. But this is kind of the end of that project. So as of today, I got one more to do to finish up, and then that will be Saturday's work. I got about 45 minutes I can spend on this, and hopefully we'll knock a good chunk of this out. So exhaust, tanks, air horns, mirrors, and then deck plate and airlines. Oh, and there are mud flaps, and this one will be done. So this one really doesn't need much more, and it's ready to go. Got to working on Savannah's truck again. Here it is. It is ready to go. Really, like I said, the only thing I haven't put the air horns on it. I got to put air horns on it. That's not a big deal though. Right there between the lights. And so a deck plate, which I don't think her truck has a deck plate on it, but it does clean up. Even if it isn't on there, it cleans up all that black space behind the sleeper. So, and it gives you a place to plug in your pogo stick and airlines. Oh, I guess some mud flaps too. Holy crap, forgot two things. So yeah, and then I found this step which actually matches the real truck in my parts bin. That was just dumb luck. And then these tanks are out of my store. The exhaust is out of my store. On the real truck, the elbow right there bends right in, and there's a panel that covers that. I don't know, it looks like it's going into the body. It's not, but there's a panel. So I don't know how to describe it, but it looks spot on to the way the real one is, so that's cool. Oh, three things. Shays. Man, here I thought I was done, and I'm not even... No. So I got mirrors, air horns, mud flaps, and then I'm going to call this a Saturday in the lab, because I've got a place to be here in about 45 minutes, so... So that's just a typical day here, or typical Saturday in the lab. Usually have tunes going on my TV. I'm listening to YouTube music today. But yeah, so we got two trucks done. That one took me a lot longer than I expected. You know, that's the problem with doing some of these really custom trucks like that. Those 38-inch Aero sleepers on a Kenworth. Man, it takes a lot of finagling to get all that to line up right. And then even you go through all that work, and it still may not be perfect. But it's pretty good. It's, yeah, I don't know if I'm in love with it or not. I haven't decided, but it's sitting over there. It's ready to go. You've seen it. You've seen that one there, and it's ready to go. The only thing I didn't get done, I was kind of hoping I'd get a bunch of parts put away, but I'm going to get all the tools put away and then call it Saturday. And then, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's going to be the end of my Saturday here in the lab. So anyways, thanks for following along, and we'll catch you later.